Hey everyone, it's me, and today I'm going to be talking about Windows Vista. I am going to actually try to not utterly slam this operating system as much as I'm sure a lot of people already have, especially when it was the new Windows operating system. Um, a little bit of history behind it, and if I actually get around to getting my hands on it to be able to throw it into a virtual machine, I would love to get my hands on the Longhorn beta. But I'll talk about Longhorn in a moment. So here we have Windows Vista. Now, this particular operating system, the one I'm running on the VM, this is actually an upgrade version that if you had Windows XP, you could upgrade to Vista through there. Of course, there were certain things that were still the same. Of course, you had your taskbar, your icons, the recycle bin. There were some aesthetic changes. One of the most notable was the start button, which it didn't say start. It was just the Microsoft logo in a button. You still had system related things over here and software related things over here. Now there was something about Windows Vista that I thought it was pretty cool. It was something called Windows Sidebar. You could put up a clock, you could go through your pictures, get your headlines from any of these sites that you subscribe to. The RSS feed would end up right here. You could put in a weather app. You could put a lot of information here. You could put in a monitor that would show CPU usage and whatever. And you could also go and download other apps and components for the sidebar. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's like, sure, this definitely was not a perfect operating system. There is no such thing as a perfect operating system, but a lot of people, they would give Vista a try, and then they went back to Windows XP because, let's face it, Vista, there were issues. A lot of people said their computer wasn't running as fast. They had issues with crashing. There might have been security issues. In fact, if memory serves, there was. This is the biggest reason why the sidebar, um, the apps for the sidebar and the sidebar store disappeared. I mean, they did. When I make my video on Windows 7, I'll explain a little further. But they kept certain aspects of the sidebar in Windows 7, but then they discovered that there were security issues. There were vulnerabilities, which is why the store disappeared, and they basically stopped supporting anything dealing with the sidebar or any of those components. Again, the not the taskbar, but the menu options. There were some differences. There was some more compartmentalizing. Games, and music, pictures, documents. I will give Microsoft that. I liked that they were expanding, the compartments where you could put things in, made it a little easier. This version also, I don't remember this being in Windows XP, but it gave you a DVD maker because DVDs were, a very very big thing. I know the computer I was running this on had a DVD burner, and it was very good to at the time until I bought an external drive, for backing up things. Um, you had a Windows Calendar. Actually, yes, I probably should have looked a little more into that in the other ones, but again, an updated version of Windows Explorer. They updated the Windows Media Player. This right here, the Windows Media Center, this was actually a fairly new thing, which probably was one of the best aspects of Windows Vista because you didn't have to go searching around for a particular app. It was all here. You could get to your music library, any pictures or videos you had. You could even work your tasks from here. Go to online media. And of course, like I said, there's TV and movies. You could actually set up, if you had the equipment and whatnot, you could actually watch TV through your computer. Which, at the time, this was a pretty big deal. And I may have some gripes about Windows Vista, because I do agree with a lot of people who were saying, it was a bit sluggish. They had some other issues about Vista. But, I didn't really use Vista a lot. In the computer that I have right now, the desktop I'm working with right now, initially that one, they installed Windows XP Professional instead of Windows Vista. Plain and simple, I told them when they built it, I said, I do not want Windows Vista on that computer. Windows 7 was only, I don't know, a couple, 3 months away from release, and I was just going to go to that. So, needless to say, my experience with Vista is fairly limited. I didn't really use it a whole lot. But, the thing I wish that Microsoft would have done, I really wish they would have just continued their work on Longhorn. Longhorn was a predecessor to Vista. It actually is what Vista could have been. I've seen some people who have the Longhorn beta in a virtual machine, and it just it looked great. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it looked fascinating, and myself, one of these days I'm going to get my hands on. I would love to get my hands on the beta and check it out, and maybe make a video. And say, okay, this is what Vista could have been. They did keep some functionalities, certain, a few things from Longhorn. They imported into Vista, but the vast majority of Longhorn just, became vaporware, and we ended up with this. Which again, I'm listing this one as a stopgap between XP and Windows 7. So, that's all I really have to say about Vista. Hope you enjoyed this, and hope you stick around and check out the next video, which will be talking about Windows 7. And leave your comments if you like it, and hopefully some thumbs up. And I will see you again in the next video. Until then, I'm Naruko Murakami. See ya.